I just heard you.
Thank God, good evening.
Hi, Mrs Noch. Welcome
Hello,
to the
my
Scribe
darling
Stories.
sis. Oh, gosh.
Thank you for your patience. Thank you for agreeing to do this with me. I don't take it for granted. I know that you are. It's a privilege, really. It's a privilege, and I really want to. I really want the people, especially those people that have something in this season of their lives, they're feeling this urge to write, to birth. I want them to hear you. I want them to listen to to just in the few minutes that we have, because I know that we will be running away soon. To just really hear your story. So, without further ado, can you tell us a little bit about you? Um, what what's the name of your book? Your author.
Well,
Who is Mrs. Notch, and why did she decide to write a book? Tell
hmm,
us.
who is Mrs. Noch? That question, I think,
Can you hear me?
till Jesus comes. Yes, I can hear you. Till Jesus comes, we'll still be answering that question because
Okay,
we're
okay.
running
You're
more and
a
more
bit
layers
frozen on
every
my
day.
end, but I can hear you now.
Okay, you can hear me okay, right? Now you're freezing up. Your screen is frozen,
Oh,
but I hope you can hear me.
it's cracking.
Oh,
I can't really
oh,
hear. I don't know if it's me, but it's cracking.
it's a
The
bit glitchy
network.
at your end. Can
Is it
you
end?
hear me now?
Oh boy.
Okay, you can hear me. Thank you. The
I
devil is a liar. We sanctify this airways
Okay,
in
we can
Jesus'
hear
name.
Mrs. Notch.
Amen.
You can, Mrs. Notch, please go ahead. Just go ahead. I think
Okay.
it's my end.
So my name is Doko Nochiranye. A lot of people call me Mrs. Noch because it's just easier to say than Nochiranye. And it's not a Canadian thing. It's started happening even from the moment I got married. I live in Ontario, Canada. I'm a family life coach and also the chief executive officer of Thriving African Families. I'm a coach by day and a servant of God by night. I'm a wife and a mom and the proud author of the book, How to Lead Your Child to Christ. I decided to write the book because, very quite simply, God impressed it on my heart to do so. It wasn't a dramatic event. I didn't see an angel appear from heaven. It wasn't lightning and thunder. It was just a heaviness, an impression, a burden that I couldn't shake off. And it was when I was going through the Unbundling the Decade program. I'm going to happen to be my support coach at that time. You know, she became my sister and friend. And as we went through that program, it was just, I couldn't shake off that feeling. Even the title, How to Lead Your Child to Christ. I was praying and I said, God, what kind of title is that for my first book? Can't you give me something more funky? Something more, something more trendy? What kind of title is that? That is so spiritual. That's so Christian. It's so Christ centered. Why would you care about such a topic? And God told me, because my children are not saved. They go to church, their parents are born again, but they themselves have not given their life to Christ. And I want you to write a manual, a simple way that parents can lead their child to Christ, even parents that were not Christians before. And so I started writing the book about 2 weeks into that program. I didn't finish writing it until a couple of months later. I started writing the book in July. I finished writing it in November, but that was because I took a break for like 2 months. And the book was published the following March, to the glory of God. So that's how come I started writing. I didn't plan to be a writer. Although somewhere in my mind, I've always thought maybe I'll write books in future, but I didn't know what or when or where even. I was quite surprised when God just dropped this on my lap and said, "Hey, you will write this book." And we did.
Yeah,
Gladly.
we did, and I'm just excited because you are the perfect. I don't know if the word prototype is the word of the kind of person that I feel like this is what the person that God is sending me to in that sense, because it's the same thing. It's the same thing that happened with me. There was a deep impression. There was such an urgency. And then because I was even slacking, he now made some dramatic things happen that have made me stop and just get into the work. And I really just want to tell us a little bit about some of the significant experiences that you had in the process of just writing this book. Like what happened during the time of writing? Can you remember anything that was just significant in that sense in the writing
How can I
process?
forget? How can I forget? So when I started writing the book, I hadn't led my own child to Christ at that time. I had a 6-year-old. He was 6, or is it 7? I don't remember now. 2 years ago, so he was 8. He was about to be 8, and I hadn't led him to Christ. It was when I started writing the book that God directed me to lead my child to Christ based on the principles that I was writing in the book. And because this book was a very spiritual book, it's not a topic that you just Google and say, and I refused to Google it at that time. I didn't Google until the book was published.
Wow.
Because I didn't want my senses to be overridden by
Mm,
what was already existing.
mm.
And that is not to say that that's a template for everyone, because later on, as I became schooled in the art of scribing, so that's another thing. You need to be schooled. There's a way to write books. It doesn't fall on you. There's a way to write books. I went on several trainings before I could birth my book. In fact, the first book that God directed me to was yours, The Birthing. And I thought, what is this? Who is this person? And I tried to order the book on Amazon. It would take a few days to arrive. And God said, you need it today. Today, I bought it on Kindle so that it would land immediately. And I read the book. And it gave me an idea. It started to make sense to me that, oh, these things that I'm having, they're not unique to me. They're other people. Listen, writing a book, scribing, being an instrument of God, being a ready writer in God's hands is about tuning your frequency. You know, when you're listening to a radio, you're not the only one that's catching the frequency. Anybody else that tunes their radio right will catch that frequency. A book is an urgent message from God. It is a wave. It is a letter from heaven itself to God's people. If you are tuned into that frequency, you will catch it according to your own destiny DNA, according to what God has made you to be. So I will not catch books on things that God has not implanted in me from the moment He formed me in my mother's womb. So as you tune your frequency, as you stay in the place of prayer, stay in this place of diligence, stay in the place of waiting on God, there is no way you will not hear, there's no way you will not see, and the body will not leave you because that book has your name on it. I've seen people that God told them to write books, and 40 years later they wrote the book. I was just laughing because if you even wait for 80 years, that book still has your name on it. You will still write it for us. You may now be late, oh, it's still possible that you be late because others are catching that frequency as well. So as I was going through unbundling the Unbundling the Decade program, it was a prophetic unbundling actually. So I was being unbundled from within. So I caught that frequency in line with my calling and I started to write. And when I started writing the book, I realized that there were some things I didn't know. So I went for trainings. I went for book writing trainings. I did about 3 before I could publish my book. Yes, plus reading your book, that's making 4. So I learned how to write. Having a message does not mean you know how to write because there are different ways to write. Sometimes you write by revelation. God shows you something or God is speaking to you. When I wrote How to Lead Your Child to Christ, there are 2 parts in the book, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 was by dictation. I was typing as I was hearing. I was literally hearing the words, full stop, comma, space, erase. No, that's not what I said, erase. I was taking dictation. I'm not joking. You know the way Moses took dictation of the first edition of the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments version 1.0. God wrote on the tablet actually for Moses and gave to Moses. Then Moses broke it in anger because the people angered him. By the time it was second edition, it was dictation. God said, be writing. Write on the stone. And Moses was writing as he was hearing. So the first part of the book, I wrote what I heard. But the second part of the book, I literally had to push it out. I had to birth it from within me. So you can write by revelation. You can write by, so revelation, you saw it, you heard it. God is impressing the words in your heart. Some people see that, they see words, the words are moving. You got to catch it. You got to catch it because it's a frequency. If you don't catch the words and type it, it will go. And as it's going to a willing, yielded vessel. Who is going to catch it and write it? Because it's an encrypted message from God. It has to be downloaded. The Spirit of God is literally moving on the surface of the waters, especially in this time. There's such a release of the Spirit of writing, a scribal anointing. So you got to catch what is yours. Otherwise, the Spirit of God is going to move. The Spirit of God is not waiting for your time or waiting for you to give birth to that baby or finish your maternity leave or get a new job or japa or japada, whichever one you want to do. The Spirit of God is not waiting for all those things. It's going to move to where there's a willing and ready vessel that will just catch it, download it, and write the book. 2 weeks. You're still there. 2 weeks. You're still thinking. You're still dreaming. We're giving you dreams. You're not even writing it down. It's all different components of your book. Download everything, catch it, and write it. You can write by revelation. You can write by inspiration. Maybe you learn something, or you are exposed to a program, a training, a course, a class, whatever it is, and you just say, "Wow, I've learned so much about this topic. I'd like to share what I've read, in addition to the insights that I have unbundled from within me as I've meditated on it." That is inspiration. You are inspired to write by people, by something, by events, by your lived experiences, by occurrences in your life, even by trends and mega trends. You can be inspired to write things about things like that. And you can also write by compulsion. Example, exams. When you write exams and assignments, you are writing by compulsion. Somebody has given you a deadline and said, if you don't write this thing, you will not pass. You will sit down and you write it by force because you need your grades. So those are the 3 different ways you can write. And I went through practically those 3 stages as I was writing my book. I wrote by revelation. The second one I wrote by inspiration of the Spirit of God, and the third one I had to finish it by compulsion because God said you will finish this book by so and so time. So keep turning around. You will have to publish this book by so and so time. Get it done, and that was how it was for me.
Oh my God, you're saying so many things, and I feel like this is a session that will still come back. You should take, if you did not take pen and paper, go and bring pen and paper because everything you're saying, I can totally relate. Like, I genuinely believe what you're saying about there is such a grace for scribing and the anointing. I genuinely believe that this is, I don't know, what I'm even doing, like I stumbled into it. Like, if I do it, I just came into it because God wants to use ordinary people like you and me to actually bring down. There are books in heaven.
Oh yeah.
There are scripts. I believe there are. Every time I watch, like I'm a movie person, and sometimes I watch in recent years. I haven't been watching movies as I used to, and one of the biggest reasons is just like there's nothing to watch. Like this, are running out of ideas, and I feel that's why they keep bringing back movies and they keep doing, I know, the same movie, different, because, and I strongly believe that there are stories that are in heaven that can be downloaded, that can be brought down here, that would be so transformational in the life of people. I believe that there are those that will write there are creative scribes. There are people that would write about the things that are happening. There are industries that God wants to just write through. And when you mention writing in like with compulsion, there are 3. Oh my God. See, all of us, and this is one of the reasons why I'm a big fan of coaching, because if it wasn't for that being compelled, some of us by nature are just relaxed and but if you put yourself in an environment that makes you birth, that forces you to sit down and birth, you will just be grateful to God at the end of the day. So, oh my goodness, you're saying so many things that we did not plan.
Right? We have not even started though. We're still warming up.
I'm telling you, you're just right on point with the things that you're saying. And there's no even need to act like, I can already see, you've already touched on the fact that there is God, the rule of God in your journey, the role of the Holy Spirit and how you leveraged hearing him. Look at that. You talked about like there is the dictation part where you're actually just hearing. And I'm believing that there are people, it's just that you have to make yourself available. So my next question would be, what has happened post launching this book, right? Since you wrote this book and and now you're an author, can you tell us a little bit about what has, especially in hindsight, like what has happened, and you can connect to the fact that you actually did and obeyed this prompting, you did this assignment and you delivered. What do you think? Like what has happened so far? How has your life changed? What have been your experience? What transformation has occurred in your life? I know this one a little bit, but let's hear you, ma.
What has not happened? What has not happened? And I'm glad that you have had a front row seat to my journey. I am truly the poster child for what God can do with a life that is yielded to him. So first of all, writing that first book opened up the next phase of my calling and my assignment. When you don't obey the instruction, you cannot see the next. That's just how God works. He rewards faithfulness, not slacking. So when you are faithful with that little instruction, start that newsletter, start a blog, start this, start that, because it doesn't have to be writing a book. Scribes don't only write books. Scribes instruct people in messages of heaven, and it could be in different forms. You asked a question previously that what I encountered did I have? Several. The first was that I had a vision of God's media house in heaven. God actually has a media house, a publishing house in heaven. There are different departments there. Some people produce newspapers, some people produce newsletters, some people produce academic materials as inspired by God. People produce journals, people produce books, checklists. My goodness, all sorts of things. E-books. There were different types of written forms of media in heaven, including songs. All of those things were there, and God was the editor-in-chief, and he was standing there and just ensuring that the whole place was properly run. And things had deadlines. There were newsletters that had to go out by a certain day. That vision that I saw, it was like a Monday. There were newsletters that had to be published today, and I saw angels putting pressure on the writers to say, publish your newsletter today. This message has to go out today. Another one was due at the end of the month. Make sure this person is on queue to deliver at that time. There are things that were due annually. Everything was working and moving. And so I saw my place in it, and I saw that there was a portion of the work that had been given to me. So I have to do that. I'm not doing everything. I can't do everything, but the portion that's been given to me, I have to do. So that was one encounter I had. Another encounter I had was when I was about to finish writing the book. I didn't even see the end of the book. I wrote most of the book by inspiration. So it's later that I learned how to write books properly, do your outline and start to write and all of that. But I didn't know when I was going to finish the book because I wrote the outline after I finished the book. I wrote the outline last. And so when I almost finished the book, I suddenly I started having visions of me getting on a plane and ascending. Sometimes I'll have visions of me taking off, like I'll see myself in a cape, like Superman. You know the way Superman, when he wants to fly, the way he will crouch down and then take off and fly. And I'll see myself crouching down, and I was trying to take off, and I was trying to take off. And I started praying about it, and the Holy Spirit said, you need to ascend to finish this portion of this book. You literally have to come up higher. And I thought, come up higher. What do you mean by that? Because I could see that I was trying to ascend. I was trying to jump. I would crouch down, and I would try to jump. And I just wasn't lifting. It wasn't working. And he said, yes, because your scriptural intake is weak. I need you to go to Bible school. Quickly. I'm like, okay, now. That's how I carried myself and a couple of other sister friends. I said, let's go to Bible school together. And we went to Firebrand Forerunners Bible School quickly. The speed that I used to get in and out of Firebrand Forerunners, people were wondering why I was so passionate. They didn't know I was on compulsion. Quickly get this thing done. I need you to understand more of the Bible before you can deliver the portion of this book. Truly. And that was what happened. By the time I finished the Bible school and I came out and I finished writing the book, by the time I was done with the book, I saw myself taking off in a plane alone. I took off alone in the plane. I was the pilot and I drove the plane alone. By the time I was coming down and asking for permission to land, the flight was full of passengers. Full of passengers. And I came and I landed the flight successfully. That's when I knew that I was nearing the completion of the book. By the time I finished writing the book, oh no, I had almost finished writing the book. Another encounter I had. I was at work one day and I woke up in the morning to see what the Lord has done. See what the Lord has done. What we waited for has come to pass. And I thought, oh, that's a song. And I thought, oh, okay. You know, when you wake up in the morning, you have not tuned your frequency properly, you not tuned your radio. I thought, maybe that's the song of the day. Let's listen to the song and all that. And when I got to work, I saw some angels. They didn't look like angels. They looked like human beings, but they were a bit short. And they were like drummer boys. They had drums over their neck and they were drumming and they were following me around. And I thought, what's this one now? Then one time I took a break from work and I went to the washroom. And on my way back, I saw those two angels again. They met me in the passage and they were drumming beside me and they kept on singing that song. And I said, okay, guys, what are we doing? What are you drumming for? Because I know you're not drumming for me. Am I celebrating anything? What's going on? And they said, no, we're celebrating your book. Your book is done. And I said, what? I've not even finished writing. How do you even know that I'll finish it? They said, you have passed the point of no return. You will finish the book at this point. And I said, so what's with the song? Like, what do I like? This is Nathaniel Bassey's song, I believe. Was it the one that sang the song? Yes. I said, it's Nathaniel Bassey's song. You guys why are you thinking of that? And he said, oh, it's not Nathaniel Bassey's song. That song is a found in heaven that we shared with Pastor Nat to release to you people. So it's our song. This is what we sing. I said, oh, okay. Then I joined and I sang the song and I just walked back. It was just a small bathroom break at work. Nothing. So you will have encounters in the process of birthing a divine assignment with God, be it a book, a newsletter, a blog. I can't tell you how many. After I started writing the book, God made me start a newsletter immediately, weekly newsletter every Sunday. By the time I finished writing that newsletter, there were 3 books inside the newsletter. When I collated all the newsletters, I realized I'd written 3 books. And I said, wow. And the Holy Spirit said, yes, you were writing books. We just had to make you write it as newsletters. And they were urgent information. I'll be writing the newsletters like this and I will feel the presence of God in the room with me. I'm not joking. It will be so strong. So there was particularly, I had to look behind me and I looked left and right. I'm like, I'm not alone in this room. I could feel it. Every word that I was typing on my keyboard, I knew that I could not manufacture those words myself. I was writing things that I had not seen in that newsletter. People would call me to say, what you described in that newsletter was me. How did you know? I said, I don't know. It's God that told me. It's God that told me. Just read it and be blessed. That is the message for you. And so you will have different encounters. The book changed me. It launched me into authorship. Now, an authority is someone who is an author of something. The word authority actually comes from the root word author. So if you're an authority in something, what have you authored? So that book launched me into authorship because I had written a book about how to lead your child to Christ. It solidified my footing as a minister of God, someone who is called to families ministries. Apart from that, the book gave me notoriety. People know me today because of my book. Some people read the book and they thought, wow, one of my favorite reviews on Amazon is somebody who is not even African or Nigerian. They said, I saw this book, I bought it, and it's a great book. I recommend. I don't know the person, he didn't even leave a name, or she didn't, I don't know who they are. That book launched me into authorship. It made people know me for a good cause. It gave me the opportunity to present heaven into people's homes and into the hearts of children. So the book launched me even more into children's ministry. The book gave me exposure before a lot of Christian leaders. Because of my book, some of them reached out to me. Some of them eventually became sponsors of programs that I did just by virtue of the book. The book ended up in libraries, in churches, in children's church, in Sunday schools, in churches, and things like that. In terms of monetary requirements, I don't think I wouldn't say the book is even a bestseller, but I wasn't even looking for bestseller status. I was just trying to get the work done. So some books will be bestsellers and some will not. So don't say, oh, my book didn't sell 1,000 copies. Maybe I'm not successful. Says who? The fact that you even sell one copy. Once one person bought the book, I was happy. I was happy. I was like, thank God. If it's only that one person that will be saved, that's fine by me. The book opened up other portions of my calling and my assignment. After writing the book, I went on to start a parenting academy for Christian parents called the Biblical Parenting Academy. From the Biblical Parenting Academy, I started a social enterprise, a non-profit organization for families of African heritage. After the book, I went on to become even more of a leader in my community. I now sit on boards. I now have the opportunity to lead at the highest levels of governance. I now work in child protection. Well, not work. I volunteer in child protection at the highest levels. All of these things came as a result. They were doors that opened up after I wrote that book. After I gave birth to that book, I started to see more and see more and see more and follow hard after. I started a newsletter after that. The newsletter was very successful. I don't even write the newsletter anymore. And the newsletter has produced 3 other books that are in the works that I'm still working on. It has given me exposure before leaders and generals and fathers and mentors of the faith who work in children's ministries, who are midwives, who are deliverers of children, where there is a genocide or a destruction of children in this generation. Those people know me because of my book. People Google me and they see the book and they just go and buy. I just receive alerts on Amazon. I just receive alerts on Amazon. I just receive KDP and I'm like, okay, thank you, Jesus. I'm not even marketing it. I'm not even selling it, but it's selling itself because it is God's message. It's not a message I wrote to get rich or to be famous or to be known. I just needed to do as my father had said to do. You know, when Jesus said, whatever I see my father do in heaven, that's what I do. That was what I was trying to do. So the book has done a lot more than I can tell you. It has connected me with mentors, people that if I had reached out to them before, I would have been a stalker. You know, stalkers that you block. But because of that book, many of them will just Google and they will see. So the book gives you SEO as well, especially when you put it on Amazon. It gives you great SEO. Great. Amazon is still one of my best SEOs because my personal website I'm still working on redoing it. So it gives you that recognition for the work, for the niche, for the area, for the calling, for the assignment that God has put to me. Because for you to truly be a thought leader, for you to truly be an authority, you have to author something, whether they're academic materials or their policy materials or their newsletters, their checklists, their ebooks, their blogs, whatever it is, you have to author something. So sit in that authorship and then you can now become an authority on that subject matter. Does that help?
It helps. I'm hearing so many things. Oh, goodness. This is so beautiful. I'm hearing one. The first thing you said, that when you don't obey, you will not see what is next.
No.
Did you know where you were headed prior to
Not at all.
your life? And that is just that is the beauty of partnering with God. That is the point. This is what I am about. It's not just that you want to write a book. There are many places you can go or many ways that you can do this. But the core of the message is that you are partnering with God.
Yes.
To write that book. See, this Scribe Stories, it's not going to be the same thing that will happen to you. Things that happen with her, it's not what happened with me. I have every one of us because we are working with our maker, the one that formed us from within. And before he formed you, he has already written your script. So he knows the things that you're supposed to do per time. And it's just so beautiful to see the outcome, because God can never, ever mismanage your life. That's the first thing I heard. Number two is that you understood your own success metrics. It's not about 1,000 copies, selling 10,000, becoming a best-selling author for you. It wasn't about selling 1 million copies today. You understood what was your success metrics, and best believe that this could actually be selling 1,000 copies can actually be someone else's success metrics dictated by God. You don't know.
Yes.
We don't know. So it's a journey that it's only you and your Father, and understanding what He's doing. It's only Him that will dictate for you what success looks like, and then you will be understanding it. Even gives you, they say, the confidence. You know what you're doing. You trust the process, and you are happy with the results that you're getting. You're not looking around and say, this person sold 5,000 copies. Or me, I've not even sold anything.
I know people that's not what this is about. Almost 10,000 copies at pre-order. Exactly. Almost 10,000 copies at pre-order. The book hasn't even been printed.
But that's you know your own success metrics, and all of us have our own. And the third thing is also about just actually in everything is how you understand that there is a way to do this.
Yes.
There is a way to you get it. There's a way to scribe. There's a way to write. There's a way to partner with God. And like you mentioned earlier, you actually went through a process of learning and relearning. And it's such a beautiful invitation, because I see a lot of growth. Like, I see a lot of spiritual growth, and I love that part. It's and that's what has happened. Like, coming on this journey that's the highest. It's a privilege. That's the highest. Yeah. How would I put it? The thing that God used to draw me close to Himself. It was an undercover mission, actually.
Always. It's always like that.
into Himself, into purpose, into understanding. And I'm sure that anyone that is feeling that burden is the same thing. It's an invitation. It's a burning bush.
Yes.
And he just wants you to look, because you don't even know what is ahead. Well, this is Mrs. Noch's journey. We don't know what is ahead, but if you don't obey and you don't say yes, we will never know. We will never have this conversation and with you about your own story. And that's why I'm encouraging everyone. For me, the reason I'm doing this, part of the reason is because I'm actually going live from this Sunday. I mentioned it earlier with Scribe Secrets. Scribe Secrets is a free 14-day challenge for those who are sensing what we've sensed to come on this journey. With the little that God has opened me up to I will be sharing with a framework that He gave me, or called the CPP framework, how you can actually conceive and produce and birth your own book. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're having this conversation. And I hope that you can go through the page, find the links, and just sign up so that we can do this. So that one day you'll be sitting just like this, encouraging other people, telling them your story, being an inspiration. Because see, everything she shared, I'm coming back to this session. There is so much in this short time. There is so much she has shared. But before we round off, I just really want you to tell us, what would you tell someone that is still on this stage, or just trying to, what advice would you give an aspiring author, a writer, someone that is it's just a thought in their head, but they are interested and they are going to watch this, or they are here watching this? What are you going to tell them?
First of all, create an architecture in your life that gives room for you to hear God on a consistent basis. Without that, it'll be difficult for you to write a book. Some people go away for a while to write a book, but that is not when they conceived the book. Conception requires a consistent architecture to receive. You must know how you hear God. You must know how God speaks to you, and you must document that. Scribes are recorders. You document the information that God gives to you. There are things that I wrote down 2-3 years ago that I'm just doing now, that I'm just walking into them now. If I didn't write them down, I would have forgotten them. Create that system in your life where you can hear God consistently, and just take note. Take note of everything. Don't overthink it. Don't complicate the matter. The first time God told me to write a book, I had no clue. I've never even written. The only thing I've written was my projects in university. So I had no experience with writing books or, okay, I think I wrote a newsletter, a teenager. I was one of the contributors of the teenage magazine in my church many years ago. So I didn't have experience as an author. Don't expect that you will have experience as an author too. Everybody wrote their first book one day. John Maxwell, Mike Murdoch, T.D. Jakes, all of these people wrote their first book one day. So writing your first book is going to be hard. It's new to you. It's new to your spirit. It's new to your body. I had to wake up at 4 a.m. every day for months to be able to write that book. It started with a chapter, not a chapter, a paragraph, I beg your pardon. It started with a paragraph that I typed on my phone, just a small portion of the book that I had, and I just typed it. And I spoke to a sister friend of mine. I said, I'm feeling that God wants me to write this book. And she said, okay, yes, go ahead. I said, I have only a paragraph. That's so far from a book.
God
And she
bless
said, yes,
Sister
keep
Friends
writing.
that
She
are
said, keep writing.
encouragers.
Yes, I was Coach T of Mother's Haven. She said, keep writing. I said, keep writing. Do you know how many paragraphs?
Sorry about the network issues, but you were rounding off with your advice for the authors.
Yes.
Yeah.
So create a way that you can constantly hear God. For me, it was the discipline of waking up at 4 o'clock, because by the time my kids wake up and life gets busy and there's noise in the environment, it's very difficult for me to hear and to really capture the things that I'm hearing, because you just have your kids and they start to say, oh, mommy, 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 and everybody requires your attention. So that was the only room that I could find in my life where I could have quiet, solitude, silence, and stillness to be able to write. You need those things to write. All right. So create that room, that time block in your life when you say, I'm just going to sit and dream with God. I'm just going to sit and hear. I'm just going to sit and write the things that I am hearing and receiving. The second thing is, make sure that you are documenting. Even if you don't understand it, write it down. Journals have to become your friend. If you know that you have something in your heart to write it down. Some people have children's books in them, and it's because when they see the animation flying by, as it's passing them, as that image is passing them, they're not writing it. So that book can never come out. You have to write the messages, the instructions, the images, the things that you are seeing. Write them down, sketch them down. The dreams that you're having, write them down. The third one is put one step in front of the other. When I started writing my book, or my first book, I didn't know how I was going to finish it. I didn't know how I was going to finish or when, but I put one step in front of the other every day. After a while, I took a break for like a month or two. So don't take a long break, because some people go on break and they never come back. People have so many unfinished manuscripts. Take a short break, keep writing the book. There's an energy that comes with a book. It's like a wave. You ride it. Once that wave exhausts its energy, that's it. You got to wait for the next wave to come again. So ride the wave of the book. You don't stop because you are tired. You stop because you are done. You keep writing the book until you are done. And you write it when it is inside your body. When you are feeling that burden, that's when you write. So if you postpone, suppress, or suspend the burden, you will have to wait for the next wave. And who knows when the next wave will be? It may not even be in this generation. It may not be this year. It may not be in this season of your life. Let's say you have a book that you're trying to get out, and you say, oh, I'm tired, this wahala is too much, and you stop writing it. The next thing that can happen to you, especially if you're a woman, you can just get pregnant. And that's another season again. You'll be out of the game for the next 4 years. Before you can even think straight. It's when that child starts going to school that you say, hey, where is the book? By then, the wave has gone. The energy has gone. The frequency has gone. The soul has ended. And you're just coming to the party. That's just late. That's such a disservice to heaven. So continue writing the book. When you start, you continue until you finish. That's when you stop. The fourth one is that you may not have all the resources or the knowledge when you start writing the book. Don't let that deter you. I remember when I finished writing my book in November, I didn't have a dime to publish the book. I almost didn't finish the book because I was thinking, where would I even, when I look at my finances, there's no room for anything called book publishing right now. But I thought, you know what, I'll finish the book first. Let me even finish it. When I sent it for editing, I wasn't sure how I was going to even pay. But by faith, I just put one foot in front of the other and I sent it to the publisher and they edited it. And I said, okay, what's the next thing? They said, this is the next thing. How much is it? This is the amount. Okay, give me 2 weeks. I'll pay you in 2 weeks. And I paid. And that was how I continued to do it until finally I just heard, your book is ready. And I thought, wow. Your book is on Amazon. I thought, wow. How many copies do you want to print? I thought, wow. The devil actually told me when I was writing this book, you're writing, you will not see money to publish it. And I thought, maybe I should just stop. No, that's another thing. Number 4, you will be discouraged. You will be discouraged. So watch who you tell. You don't announce to the world, oh, I'm writing a book. A book is like pregnancy. Sometimes you have to be really discreet. You sit and then you write it. It's when you finish that people will know when you are launching. You can show them behind the scenes. You can document your process and share images of, oh, something is coming. But don't go and tell people you're writing a book when they have never written a book. So also that leads me to number 5, community. Find yourself in a community of writers or aspiring authors, because they're the ones that will understand what you are going through. When you say you have writer's block, they will have solutions for you. If you talk to your friend who has never written a book or authored a book or even written a letter in their lives. They will expunge that baby. That baby will be aborted. They'll tell you, why are you stressing yourself? Why are you writing a book? Why bother? There's no need. Wahala. It's like you don't have a just don't be careful who you share that vision with. Find yourself in a community of authors. They are always, look, listen, Coach Gone has the community for it. There are always spaces and communities where you find people that are writing like you. Are we on chapter 1? Let's come together and write our chapter 2. Let's come together and do this. They will have information about editors, about publishers, about self-publishing. All the information you need will be in a community of authors. It's not going to be in the market.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. Find yourself in the right community. And number 6, please, 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 and please, do not let whatever you don't have right now prevent you from saying yes to that book that is in your heart. Be it time, be it money, be it knowledge, be it resources. Once the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Once I said yes to the assignment to write the book, the people that will guide me, they appeared. They appeared, the right people that I should join their Instagram live, join their community, buy their own book, listen to what they are saying, watch their YouTube videos. All of those things started to gravitate towards me because it was heaven sending me the resources that I need. Everything that I need to complete the assignment that God has given to me is within me or around me, and God is bringing them to me the moment I say yes to whatever that assignment it is. So please take note of that. And number 7, maybe I'll end on that note, is your confessions. I remember when I was writing the book, we had this community of unbundling authors, and I used to send affirmations on a weekly basis for us to write, just to keep us in that energy of writing the book. You must confess that you're an author. You must confess the things that, listen, when a soldier is going to battle, he's fully kitted up and he knows why he's wearing everything. Affirmations, spiritually voice printing the words that come to your heart is a part of your armor as a scribe. You must say things that show that you are a writer. It is not just by saying you're a writer. That's why we talked about doing it first. When you have started writing and then you start to say that you're writing and you start to say that your book will be published, give it a name, do a mock-up, start to see what it looks like. All of those things, visualization and voice printing are things, tools, mechanisms that will move you towards the finish line eventually. And when you finish, don't forget that books do not sell themselves. You have to market your book. You have to put the word out there. You have to share it. Don't be shy. You have authored a book. Don't be shy. I wrote a Christ-centered book. A part of me wanted to say, what of my professional image? Will people think I'm a Jesus girl? Well, yes, I am a Jesus girl, period. That's on period. That's on period. Take it or leave it. That is my first book. Finished. I will write other books that you may not even hear Jesus inside. But that does not take away that my foundation is God. And that's number 8. Make sure that your foundation is God. Whatever reason you are writing this book, whatever message this book carries, whatever audience is going to reach, these are God's people. He's giving you a message for his people. It's not a fashion magazine. Even fashion magazines. See, God is the author of all wisdom. He's the author of all creativity. Creativity stems from God. He is the river that is supplying the whole world. So people that you see in different areas of influence, whether in media, in fashion, in arts, in governance, in entertainment, in religion, in sports, all of these people are powered by divinity. So whatever inspiration God is giving you to write, God is the root of all your inspiration. Make sure that ambition doesn't seep into what you are writing. Don't write some things because you want it to sell. Don't give your book a certain title because you think, that's what I saw somewhere. No, make sure that all of those things are coming from God, because if your book is a message from God to his people, they're not your people, they're God's people. So make sure that your book serves that purpose. And at the end of the day, you will do well. You will write well. Your book will come out. The book will be published and on time. It will not be published after its time. Your book will be published on time, and it will be a mighty tool in God's hand to achieve his purposes on the earth in the different areas that he has given you wisdom and insight for. You are the right person for the job. It's not the next person. It is you. You have everything that it takes to birth that book, to birth that writing in whatever form. It might not be a book. I keep emphasizing that. It might not be a book. It might be a blog. It might be a newsletter. There's a whole process for that. God might say, do a blog. Don't say, I want to do a book. Follow the instruction and follow the way God has given you, because partial obedience is still disobedience. Follow that instruction. Your book will come out. Your book will sell. Your book will reach the ends of the earth with the message that God has given you. And you will complete it. The hands of Zerubbabel that started it, you will complete the assignments that God has given to you. Thank you, my darling sister.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. Thank you for just everything. I have to go, and I'm sure Mrs. Noch have to go. There was a question, but I will try as much as possible to look at it next time, because we really have to.
That's fine.
Okay. Someone asked that she feels kind of discouraged because there are lots of books out there already, and also asking if people still read. Please, what's your advice? In like 1 minute, 2 minutes, what's your advice?
Okay. People still read. Okay. So just take that one and rest assured that people still read. And the people that God has sent to you will read. They'll read
Yeah.
your book. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. They will read your book. That is outside of your circle of influence. You can't control that. It's out of your circle of influence and out of your circle of control. You can't control people reading your book, but people still read. Books still sell a lot, millions of copies
Right.
daily. Go and ask Amazon if people still read. Amazon started as a bookstore actually before it started to sell all these other things that we know. So people still read. And also don't worry about whether somebody has written about your book before. There are two ways to handle that. I'll tell you. Number one is that you can consider it as your blind spot, like I did. I didn't Google the topic of my book until I finished writing it because I didn't want to be influenced by the noise in the market. However, it is said that before you can write a book very well on any topic, you have to read 3 books on that same topic for you to even understand what the topic is about. So, if somebody has written about your book before, or even with the same title, it's okay, it's fine. Your own version, your own perspective has not yet been written, and you still owe it to the world to write your own. Do you know how many textbooks there are on math, on English, on science? People are still making textbooks every day. There are many books on the same topic. People are still producing. So produce yours. Many people sell tomatoes in the market. That doesn't mean we will not make stew or will not eat a salad. You will still buy tomatoes. We will choose where we want to buy, or the particular one that we like. Some people will like Ogone's version. Some people will like my own version. Both of us are wearing red. It's different shades of red. Right? Different shades of red. So you will write your own version of the book. Don't worry about it. Already exists. When you read Coach Ogone's book, you will see when she said, listen, somebody wrote her book. In fact, the person even looks like her.
Yeah.
The person looks like her. Don't be deterred by that. You will write your own version. Your own version, your own perspective has not come out. Nobody can write like you. That's why you cannot copy and paste, because then there'll be nothing new. But when you write it and unpack it from within, everything is new. Everything is different. Once you change something in a recipe, the recipe has become yours. So if you make your own gari by adding water and then adding sugar to the dry gari and whatever it is you want to add into it, that's one recipe. I can decide to start my own gari with water and then pour the gari inside the water. It has changed. It has changed. It's still the same meal, but I've actually changed it. And then maybe at the end, I decide to add coconut flakes to mine. I've even changed it even further. That's another version. So whatever you change in your book has made it yours and it has made it unique. Don't worry about what exists out there, because God, repetition is for emphasis. God gives more than one person that message. There's no way you are the only person in the world that is going to write about that topic. It's not possible. Maybe the people that he has given have not done it, or they haven't come onto the stage yet, but you definitely cannot be the only one. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Mrs. Noch. Thank you everyone for joining. This is why we are doing this. It has been so insightful. It has been so revelatory in that sense. And I'm sure that you will be here this time on Wednesday for our next guest. We're going to be having Naomi here, and it's just going to be awesome as we listen to her own story as well. Thank you so much for this session, everybody. Thank you, Mrs. Noch, for being here. God bless you, ma'am. And I will see you next time. For those that don't know yet, you can sign up for Scribe Secrets. That is the free 14-day challenge where we're going to be sharing so much more about going on this journey, partnering with God. I'm using a framework that God has given me to just share, teach, and help you to birth the book that only you can birth. God bless you, Mrs. Nodge. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much. I love you. Love you so much. Bye. Thank you.